Are you ready to invest in yourself today? Welcome to the Wealth Builders Podcast, where investment leader Billy Epperhart teaches you how to build wealth through applied biblical wisdom. Scripture says in Deuteronomy 8:18, "Remember the Lord, your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." At Wealth Builders, our goal is to teach you how to build wealth through applied biblical wisdom in your finances, your business, and your investments. Now, let's join Billy Epperhart.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wealth Builders Podcast. I'm just so excited that you're joining us today, and we really have a special podcast for you. We've got Frank Pulley, that is one of our coaches with Wealth Builders in real estate, and he is going to be talking about 5 things to know before you flip a property. How many of you wish you would have heard this before you tried to flip a property? I can raise my hand and tell you that was definitely the case for us. But there is just a lot of opportunity in the market right now. And there's some areas that we want to step into, other areas we don't want to, but we always want to press into real estate with information to set us up for success. So we're so excited to get started with this, Frank. We'll just jump right into us. Tell us about the 5 things to know before you flip a property.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. And, financial freedom is more than just having a lot of money. It's being able to have time and financial resources for a good lifestyle, but also the time that you can use for, taking care of good deeds and worshiping the Lord and spend time with family. So one of the questions people ask is, real estate risky? Is it too difficult for me? And, just like Moses, Gideon, and other men in the Bible, we like to give reasons on why we can't do something. I'm too weak. I'm too shy. I'm not eloquent enough. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm poor. Always remember that God is the one who accomplishes his work through us. We are to be dependent on him. Now, who can stop God's work? God has all the resources in the world, and he will provide you with what is needed. You can be confident in your God because you understand his great love for you. He will make a way. Can you imagine if Moses stood at the Red Sea, asked God to get away from the Egyptians, and God did nothing? That would be a whole different story. But God gave Moses instructions, and the waters parted, and the Israelites escaped. And the Egyptians, well, you got to know what happened in that story. So God's name is great, and he will be with you, and he will help you. You have somebody on your team that a lot of other people do not. The Lord wants us to succeed. So in Psalm 37, 23, 24, the Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. So let's get to the topic at hand.
Sounds
First of
good.
all-
And hey, Frank, if I can just ask you a question before we go into that.
Yeah,
First of all, it's a great foundation because God is going to call us
yeah.
to success, not failure. That's great. But before you get started, will you just share with people a little bit about your background in real estate
Oh,
and a little bit about your personal experience with flipping houses?
yeah. Okay, well, as far as my history, I owned a retail business for many years and made good money, but the problem was it didn't have any time, didn't have time for family, didn't have time to do good deeds, didn't have time to spend with the Lord. That was a really important one. I wasn't brought up that way. And after being in that business for 22 years, my wife and I decided we're going to sell out and we're going to get into something that has, the opportunity to maybe make us financially independent, give us time, and be able to get back to our spiritual roots. And so we got into real estate. We joined a coaching program, and we did really well. We have bought rentals, we've done creative financing, we've done a number of fix and flips. And, I just can't say the Lord has been with us the whole time. And, we've been successful, and we've tried to pass that success on to others.
All right, great, Frank. All right, everybody, get your pens out, get your paper out. We are going to hear about the 5 things we need to know to flip a property. Back to you, Frank.
All right. Thank you, Karen. Well, first of all, but money is made when you buy, not when you sell. Make sure you consider all costs in flipping, things like carrying costs, loan costs, rehab costs, realtor commissions, etc. And a good advisor or coach can help you with these type of expenses. Always build in a bit more money and time than you think. It almost always costs a tad more, takes a little longer than you think. And one thing I learned a long time ago when I estimate rehabs, I go up in 5 grand increments, 5K increments. So if something is 11,000, I say it's 15. If some's 22,000, we say it's 25. That really helps build in a nice hedge. All right. Number 2, get an inspection on the home. You know, it's going to cost you a few $100, but I got to tell you, you're tempted to save the money, but it could cost you a lot in the long run. Make sure your contract to purchase gives you at least 7 days to do an inspection. And if problems occur, you can get out of the deal with a loss of earnest money. Hire a professional inspector to look at the property. And don't forget a sewer scope inspection. If the sewer line is not good, it can cost several $1,000s. If you find that it's bad, it might be a good negotiating tool to talk to the seller about and still make it a good deal. Number 3, don't do all the work yourself. People want to do this, but first of all, most of us aren't qualified and it's going to take forever, and time is money. Get a contractor or several subs if it's not a big job to get the property in sellable shape as soon as you can. Remember, your job is to oversee the rehab and continue to market in your business. Make sure you're marketing for other business as you're completing your rehab or rehabs. Number 4, sell a property aggressively. We like to list it at maybe 1 to 2% under market. In this hot market, you're probably going to get multiple offers and sell at more than list price. Put a couple enticements in the property that don't cost a fortune. Maybe some nice fixtures, some door handles, cabinet pulls. Very inexpensive, but really make a big statement. Also, go to local open houses to see how other professionals are finishing and pricing their homes. That's going to give you the idea of how much fix-up you need to do in that home and what you need to include and what you don't need to include. And then finally, use a real estate agent. You know, everybody says, oh my gosh, I'm going to spend the 6%. Well, there's a reason that 95% of homes are sold through the MLS. A realtor can save you a ton of money and also a lot of hassle and probably get you a higher price for your rehab. The MLS is a powerful marketing tool, and I'm telling you, you're going to get more than that 6% if you use a good realtor, if in money and aggravation. So remember that real estate, compared to other methods of investing, is not a big risk if you're educated, prepared, and have God on your side. We'll end with Psalm 328. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. And that's actually Psalm 32:8. And from our personal experience, we've seen God make a way when seemingly there was no other way. God always makes a way. Don't worry what you don't have. Don't worry about being like somebody else. Trust in God. So I'm going to end with saying, may God bless you and keep you in all your endeavors.
That's awesome, Frank. Thank you so much. I'm just going to recap this for our listeners. The
Yes,
5 things that you stated. Number 1 is money is made when you buy, not when you sell.
yes,
Number 2, get an inspection on the home. And I think we've all had stories of things that we have run into when we haven't checked certain things. So definitely follow that
yes.
one on your flip. Number 3, don't do all the work yourself. That's a very, very good tip. Number 4, sell the property aggressively. And number 5, use a real estate agent. That's really awesome. I didn't know the percentage was that high
It
as far
is.
as the percentage of homes
Yes.
sold on the MLS. That's very helpful. Also, I just want to point out to people too, just a reminder, Billy and Becky created Wealth Builders. It's all about making money for making a difference. So it's making sense of making money for making a difference. And the scripture that you ended with just reminded us that we receive instruction. And so we've got the wisdom, the favor of the Lord, but there's this practical part that we need to apply as well. And that's really what Wealth Builders is all about, is taking the foundation, the biblical foundation, and bringing in the practical application. And one thing that you'll notice is the people that are connected with Wealth Builders, your speakers and coaches like Frank, have been what we call, they've been in the game, and they're currently in the game. And so the information that is being shared is based on practical experience that we all apply each and every day. And Frank is, wow, he is one of the best out there to help with real estate. As a matter of fact, we call him with some questions with our real estate stuff. Our son Levi reaches out and asks, and Frank's always there to help. So he is just an incredible resource. So Frank, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us on flipping houses. We've got the conference, the Wealth Builders Conference, is coming up in 2022, which is right around the corner. It's February 18th to the 20th. And Frank is one of our workshop speakers. We will be sharing with you over the next few weeks the speakers and a little bit like a tease on the topic that they're going to be talking about and training on. And so Frank is obviously in our real estate track. So I want to encourage you that if you have not registered, please do so. Go to wealthbuilders.org. And also, we've got a brand new launch of our Wealth Builders University that just went live. I just saw a note on that. So it is new and improved, and it is a wealth of information that's available for you. And that is at wbuniversity.online. So Frank, thank you so much for being a part of the Wealth Builders podcast today. And thank all of you for joining in and listening. God bless you and have an awesome rest of the day.
We hope you learned something of lasting value today from this Wealth Builders podcast. If you'd like any tools, teachings, or resources mentioned in the podcast, you'll find them online at wealthbuilders.org. Wealth Builders exist to teach you how to build wealth through applied biblical wisdom in your finances, your business, and your investments. The Wealth Builders podcast is produced by Celine Williams, with music by Audio Jungle and narration by Greg Hunter. Wealth Builders is a nonprofit organization. We depend on your donations to keep this podcast running. Please consider donating to us on wealthbuilders.org.